Alrighty. Theme song. Deep breath. Deep breath. And a 1, and a 2, and a... What's up, everyone? This is Coffee with Soul. I am your host. We're going to chat. We're going to talk. We're not going to have a panic attack. I've never had a panic attack before in my life. I'm grateful for that. But I'm frazzled. How about that? I'm frazzled. I am like frustrated. Oh my God. So here's what's going on. Probably in, how many weeks? Today is Thursday. Friday. Today's Friday. So 1, 2, in probably less than 3 weeks, patch 12.1 is going to launch, which is great. It's cool. And then there's going to be, and then, you know, there's like coverage and all that stuff that I usually do. And I haven't started yet. And, you know, part of the patch includes new zone content and like this whole fangled sort of system, kind of, you know, something that you can probably ignore, but well, not ignore, but something that will kind of like blast through pretty quick. But I always like to understand things as we get into this content, so I can answer questions and, you know, give helpful tips and so on and so forth. And I can't start with that because there's a current bug on the Peter where I can't progress through quests, and I'm stuck. So I'm like, oh, okay, shit. What do I do? I guess I'll just stick to the housing side of things, and that might be what I do. It's really awkward for me though, because I'm usually like, I know everything, you know, and I like being able to, you know, like I said, answer questions, give tips, and so on and so forth, and just kind of be on top of it. You know, come from that sort of position. And as much as I do enjoy the adventure of going into content blind, you know, because that's what I do with raid content. I definitely don't like, you know, previewing bosses and things like that. Just from a work standpoint, I'm like, yo, this ain't working. You know, this is not working out for me. I want to be able to basically put out videos. And so it's kind of like, oh no, this ain't great. So I'm kind of disappointed about that. It's mostly outside of my control. There's nothing I can really do about that except to learn the lesson and be like, okay, I gotta, you know, split my time off better. And honestly, I haven't been committing to like any sort of work-life balance, and I've also been like slacking off, I feel like, because there's a lot of stuff that I've been trying to get done with the 24-hour channel. I managed to get it. I started some tests on it, and it seems to work. The problem that I'm having right now is the network drive that I'm using is so slow, and I'm not sure I can do anything about it, because I'm getting some additional parts to see if that increases the transfer speed by a little bit. But it's the kind of network drive that it doesn't also have like a USB-C connection. So I'm like, okay, what if I just take the thing and bring it up, and I'll just transfer all the stuff that I want into that drive. It's like a 6 or 8 terabyte drive or something like that. And to transfer just 500 gigs took about 16 hours, and I'm like, I can't do that. That's way too long, because I have a lot of stuff. Let me see if I can pull it up actually. So if I go to my outgoing thing, so like here's the drive, and if I just do a search for all the AA files or the Around Azeroth files, this isn't a complete list because I know that some of them are renamed something different too. So if I do, how much stuff is this? This is, oh, that's it? Oh, okay, 600 gigs. Okay, that's actually not so bad, yay. Oh, but then what about the archive stuff? Hold on. things that I typed in as archive. So that's only another 49. Okay, so it's not so bad. Okay, I'm relieved. Now the thing is, I have about so there's 130 files on the under AA, 50 files under archive. So that's about what 180 videos out of the 700 that I actually have, which is a lot. So I guess the transfer thing, it's not that big of a deal, but hard drive space is. I'm just not gonna have enough to store everything. So I'm eventually gonna need a bigger drive anyway. Anyway, I hope everyone's doing well. It's Friday. Enough of me bitching. The plan today is to kind of shoot the breeze with y'all, hang out. I don't know if I'll be able to do like any housing stuff today. Actually, yeah, I will. You guys might go on a ride with me as we do like some, we might do some verification checks with me. We're gonna do tiny previews of the houses that we'll be visiting, just to do like quick sanity checks, make sure that we're okay. So you get a little glimpse of the process at work. I think there's still one person that has not accepted my battle tag invite, so I'm just gonna, we'll just wait and hope and see. But let me say hi real quick to folks. What is up to Falcor, the first person to say hi? What's up to Melvenu and Thistle and Kaisha and Mouse and Hexraven and Arcadius and Baz Vanderwerf and Ghosty Bat? What's up to Slick and Blywin? Hi to Villandria, to Jolly Goodfella and Brett Girl J, to Kimmy and Llama Bear, and to the rest of y'all, the beautiful digital smile on Facebook going to join us throughout the day. Hello to Annie Frell and Mr. Squirrel. Yeah, big emphasis. That's Mr. Squirrel to you, buddy. I'm like, okay, I'm sorry. And hello to Millie Anna Green. Again, I hope everyone's doing well. I hope everyone's going to have like cool plans for the weekend. I believe D and I are going to be watching Odyssey this weekend. No spoilers. Just heard it was good. Guildmates were saying it was good. So apparently the planet seems to love it as well. I don't think, we didn't get to do the IMAX thing. I'm not that big, for me it's not like that big of a deal. And I'm thirsty. The other thing we're gonna do is I'm going to attempt to shoot the weekly live. I'm actually just gonna rip it, honestly, and I just have topics and a couple of website addresses or whatever, and then I'm just gonna rant and carry on about some of this week's news. From like small updates, basically things that I care about. That's for those who watch the weekly on Saturdays when I have it out. I don't cover everything that happens throughout the week because not everything interests me. Or, not everything feels like it's topics that are like really cool conversations to have or just fun things to bring up. It's usually things that like I feel like talking about for the most part. So it's like my personal highlights and all that. But there are, let's see, there are like a couple of things. Like, of course, I got to talk about the key story. Now that we have now, and I've been giving commentary while it was going on, just like commentary, because I don't really pay attention to all of it. And I was wrong. I thought that it would just be quietly done and like that was it. But in this case, Blizzard, they made a pretty, pretty lengthy response talking about, okay, here's what happened. Here's the scope of the damage that was done and what we're going to do in the future, or what we're going to do about it, or what we've already done about it. So, but I'll comment on that a little bit more. There is the Core Duel stuff. That's going to end pretty soon. And there are a lot of folks who are like, oh, well, we didn't know that at all. But there's a twist to that. It's not really a twist. It's just like a, haha, I knew it. But at the same time, oh, no one cared. So there was a thing earlier this week about some data mine text that suggested, oh, this is what's going to happen at the end of this raid. And it might be totally wrong, but people probably don't care. And then, of course, this week, the patch hit release candidate. So It's almost done, but there are still bugs to worry about. Some folks have brought them up. I brought up the whole quest bug because I can't test anything. And then there's also some housing related stuff that I've been testing and I've been watching, keeping an eye out for. That's still kind of busted. So we're going to cover all that stuff, and then once I'm done with today's stream, I'm going to cut that up and turn that into content on the main channel. Yeah. So that's the plan, man. Someone yesterday, it was yesterday or the day before, they mentioned this really cheesy housing build where it was like a whole Valentine's Day thing, and then I was just like totally, I was just making light of it and just having a good time with it. I found it. It took me a while to find. I found it. I put it up. It's over on the Around Azeroth channel as part of the archive. It was a lot of fun. So. Look at an IMAX or a few scenes where the audio was overwhelming, though. Someone was telling me that when it comes to IMAX movies, or when it comes to Nolan movies, that the dialogue tends to be lower than other things. Is that the case? Because I don't recall. So great. Can't wait for the next expansion. All this gold is horrible. I love gold, dude. It's awesome. That's it? That's all you got? I mean, if that's a... Damn, this expansion, it's so gold. Yeah, that's a pretty... What's the word? Gotta find something to be mad about. Like, this is all I got, you know? There's the lose job. Oh, that dude? Yeah. All right. But first, while first I'll do other things. Because I can do what I want. Yeah. Y'all are going to come around with me to verify houses real quick. That sounds fun, right? Yeah. All right, hold up. Let me double check the, oh shit. Okay, that person still hasn't accepted. Okay. So I believe everyone else has. Oh, it was the very last person who had applied. Oh, you know what? That means I can DM him real quick. All right, so hold on. Let me DM that guy right quick and let him know. Hey, yo, what else am I doing? I'm doing too much at once. Straight up, man. I'm trying to do another channel. I'm doing like this whole sticker thing. I'm trying to get a shirt designed. It's stupid. I'm dumping a lot of money right now, but that's what I get. Having too much fun, man. Okay, I could have swore this dude DM'd me. Not that one, not that one, not that one, not that one. Nope. Here we go, this guy. Yeah, checking. Please accept the battle tag friend request. All right. Meanwhile, let's check some places out real quick. I can't believe how stupid some people are. I don't know why he thought he could just get away with doing that. He was probably ready to quit anyway. Yes, just quit. I mean, why are you gonna burn bridge? I mean, at the same time, like, when I talk about this, I'm probably not gonna get into the personal stuff because, one, I don't care. Two, I don't really want to fan the fires of like doxing and personal attacks because that's just not interesting to me. So Can I get in? Can I? Okay, there we go. So this one is good. And looks like a place. Cool. Next. And that's the job. That's so this is the extent of my little preview sort of thing. So the things that I'm looking for, I mean, one, I just make sure that everything is cool, the privacy settings are all right. But the other thing too, I kind of take small notes of the variety of things, and then from that, once I have all these places vetted and all that, then I'll decide. I'll kind of like play around with the order of things. No spoilers, Thistle. I'll play around with the order of things in an effort to try to, you know, just kind of spice things up and have it feel like it's varied. Like, because I've had situations where I would take a look at like several big warband houses at the same time, and I'm like, oh no. and mentally that wears me out. And the same goes if I see like really like intense, overwhelming kinds of builds that look like, oh, there's going to be like a lot of kit bashing. Like, so that was one of them, and I try to space those out too. So I try to I try to do that in an effort to keep myself engaged, and hopefully, you know, I'd like to think that kind of does the same thing for the audience as well. Beyond that, though, I have this uncanny way of just forgetting everything. and so it's okay. And it's okay. Oh, this place is small. Oh boy. All right. So I like small. It's a not so secret that I enjoy small places. You know, it's like having a big meal. You know, if it's like this really intense and rich, morsel on a small plate, okay, awesome. If it's like a big buffet of like, you know, big feast for the eyes, like I'll just get too full. Like, oh boy, I'm like overwhelmed with something like this, and that's not their fault. That's just how I end up kind of responding to some of these builds here. This is 25, right? Okay, cool. My house kind of got ruined after the latest update. Everything shifted a little, so now it doesn't look the way it should, and I haven't even finished filming them. Oh, really? Oh, no. You know what? Let me double check and see if mine had changed. My version of it, if it changed, and if it didn't, then I'll just give it back or something like, because it's in there now, right? So like I own it, and so if it didn't change it, you know, in weird ways, then maybe I can give it back to you, and maybe that'll work. I don't know. I'll check though. You'll try to re-import. Yeah, maybe that'll do it. So spacious, nice, cool. Next one is 36. Oh wait, this is. These are. I think this might be this next one here. This might be like a husband and wife kind of thing. So I gotta have these back to back. Interesting. Very interesting. Okay, I don't know. Okay, I don't know if it's husband and wife. It could be like just like two guildmates or something like that. Because these folks, it looks like they're from they're from the same neighborhood. So fun. You know what I'm gonna do though, right? I'm gonna pit them against each other, and I'm going to say, oh, one person, oh, look at this person, they're just better than the other. Surely this person must be successful in life. Oh, and then this person, oh, what a loser. It'll be excellent. It'll be excellent. Okay, so now we have, who's next? Static. Actually, wait, wait, what was the last one? Wait, hold on. Static, that sounds familiar. Oh, that's not gonna work. Okay, so that one I gotta defer for later because that's like that's only that was this week. Yeah, so I'm gonna have to tell them that their thing's gonna be deferred. I'll just do it here. It's fine. Signed up. Oh. Oh. If your visits out a month, and we'll message you to reconfirm your visit. Sorry about that. So I get this kind of regularly too, where someone will either sign up twice or they'll sign up like right away or something like that. So bummer. But you know what that means? It means a spot's open. It means I'm going to open up a spot right now. So if anyone happens to ask during today's stream, oh, how do you sign up for things? You'll know. Seven. Cool. One spot has opened. So just to remind folks, read the forms when you're filling the stuff out, because I do enforce it. We're going to Twilight Bluffs now. All right. Wait, okay, so people are asking questions. Hold on. So I just own it and that's a check and no spoiler peaks? No, I don't do any spoilers. I just try not to, like, notice how, like, sometimes I'm, like, looking away from the screen and I'm not really looking at stuff. Like, that's the plan. But I also just try to, you know, push everything out and, you know, because I want to be surprised by the things that I'm seeing. And if I'm not, and I've shared that too, if I don't feel surprised or if I do a repeat visit and things look the same, it really drains the excitement from me. And I've failed to act that out. So I was especially challenged when I was doing one of the streams on the WoW channel, and they said, "Hey, I want you to do like a full check. I want footage and all that stuff." I was like, "Oh god!" So I'm getting footage like a couple days in advance, and I'm doing my best to just kind of forget everything that I saw, which was a hell of a challenge. Poofy Panda. Oh, they're there. Oh, we're gonna drop in live, baby. All right, so confirmed. All right. Oh, you know, I haven't been thanking people at all this week. So first off, let's give a shout out to Lady Katherinek for subscribing. Appreciate it. Also, thanks to Valeri and Patty and Blaine and the Malicious. Also, thanks to Kelly Bago and the Lovius and to Nine. Big thanks to Kelly Bago with the big 5 subscriptions. See, this is how awful I am at this whole thing, man. And also thanks to Astralin and Methandril, and I think I got everyone else throughout the week. So I'm kind of new to this. Show some of the grandkids some of the visible stories that I love. Oh, fun. I'm doing my best to try to get more of the archive done. Like, I think I got a lot of this week's done, but it's so hard to stay caught up. It's really hard. Love how your helmet makes you bald. Oh, that's that's actually, yeah, it's a good point. That's pretty good. Okay, so who's this one again? I think this one was Poofy. Poofy, yes. And then let's go. So a lot of Pandaran stuff. All right. Next we got Scribble. Oh, there are 2 scribbles. Okay. 15. All right. Molten Core's Widow's Peak. When he does watch on, I think he buzzes through most of it. Yeah. I try to make I want the visits to feel clean, and I want like the surprise in my face, and when I go whoa, I want all that to feel genuine. So let's see. This is Scribble. All right. Yeah, so I'll have like little letter codes that say, oh, this is a warband, this might be a warband house or things like that. And that's how I'll try to make like little distinctions. And then that's when I'll start shuffling people around. Sometimes people will DM me later on and request, oh, can you like schedule me on this day and stuff instead? I'm like, okay, I'll hear you out. And in most cases I'm able to accommodate, but I also I'm also good with leaving in that sort of friction in. Like if you want to specify the date, I'm not going to just put it on the form. You'll have to reach out and ask me about it. That's just to reduce the number of people who will make those sorts of requests, because if I made it too accessible, then there's a good chance that it's like, okay, there's going to be a bunch of people that will request on a certain day, and then I'm going to make a decision, and I hate making decisions. So it's very annoying. It frustrates me to no end, man. Okay, so this is Valfair. All right. And 3 EU folks. And someone pulled the spot. Thanks. If you happen to be in chat. And if you're not, then oh, they got lucky. They just happen to like drop in and be like, whoa, big win, buddy. Oh shit, who's this? Valfire. Okay, so okay. Wrong thing there. So I'll be popping on EU realms in a bit too, doing the same thing for the other 3. $22. It's easier for you to move a visit to the end of the day than to a specific date. Once the school year starts again, I won't be able to be on stream before 3:30 because teaching. I mean, once the schedule's out, and no one to this day, no one has asked me to move the date or the time of a visit after the schedule's out. And I already told myself that if someone were to ask that, I would say, I'm sorry, I can't accommodate that, because if I were to, because now that the schedule's out and it's been like a few hours or days or whatever, if I say, oh, let me move someone here, I gotta move someone else, and that someone else might be planning around their schedule now. So yeah, like, definitely, go ahead and make the request and all that, but I purposely don't make it easy, but you can. So all right, this is Hammer Dude. No one at Plot Zero next week. I'll spoil myself for that because that's just easy to see, you know what I mean? All right, so there's like no notes here. Sorry, I gotta like, okay. I think I need to adjust the questions that I asked, because like I adjusted the question that says, hey, is there any secret rooms we should know about? Before it said, hey, tell me some highlights, and then people use that to put a big blurb. And maybe I should just put that back in and I'll deal with it. I just don't like people losing their spot because they were filling out the blurb, and people end up stepping on each other, and that sucks. Karen at 21. Wild Huntress, thank you for subscribing, appreciate it. So what are these checks to make sure? Yeah, it's to make sure I can get in. Y'all might remember, there was a person whose place we visited, and I didn't do a good job of vetting it myself, because we were looking around and we're like, oh, where's the place? What happened? So and yeah, I talk with that person and then everything's fine now, but that's one of the reasons why I do these checks, because the last thing I want is for that exact thing to happen, where I show up and either the door's not open, or it happens to be an empty house, or worst case scenario, someone's trying to troll me, and like I walk in and it's just a big veiny dick or something like that. I'm like, oh no, that wouldn't be good. So try to avoid that. So these little, and then also, I also use these to, again, like kind of like shuffle around the order, try to make sure that as we go through the week's worth of visits, that things feel kind of varied and all that. To me, for me, that's pretty important. All right, so virus. That one is that another one? Is that another repeat? 20. Okay, that was, so signed up for the 21st, and then before that is April. Okay, they're good. Yay. Oh, I think it's because I uploaded a video, a visit from Virus not too long ago. So, all right, so we're going to secrets. And 46. Remove the blurb, stories is all generally much better. Well, some people, the whole, people love to roleplay. That's a big part of what housing is. It allows people to roleplay. And so if I can get an opportunity for someone to give their own intro as they want to do it, I feel like I should give them that chance. because that's theirs. What I decide to make up is spontaneous and all that. And thankfully, I haven't run into a situation, or at least they haven't come out to say, hey, you know what? I really didn't like how you treated my build. It felt like you were making fun of me and blah, blah, blah. Like, those are things that I'm kind of self-conscious about, but thankfully it hasn't happened yet. The old blueprints don't seem to work. No. Okay, once we're almost done. And then we'll double check and see if I can like re-export and all that stuff, and I'll give you the code and we'll see how that goes. So this one should be different feeling. Maybe instead of a blurb, I just say, give me a description in one sentence. Just that's it. If I say 30 seconds, they'll be like, all right, I'll talk really fast and blah, 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 blah. If it's like, Gen Z YouTube speed, dude, that's like a wall of text, man. That's that's a lot. I can't do that. So maybe I'll just say like one sentence. Or then they'll do a run-on sentence. Yeah. Well, so here's what it's like. Like, you go inside, and then it's like this, and then we have like all this stuff from my warband, and then it's like this, and then it's like this, and then it's like this, and then it's like that, and then haha. I don't think I can do I don't think the form allows for like a character limit. So, yeah. I saw an arcade machine. That's neat. Next is... I'm also considering like so at the start of the season, or at the start of the patch, I only want to visit EU places because realms are going to be down at the time. But I plan to not have any visits after, for the rest of the week. I think I might not. I'm considering what I want to do like the week before the patch too, because I'm burning out, and that's not good. I'm gonna get to a point where I'm not having fun, and obviously I want to avoid that. So I'm wondering, like, maybe the week before or a couple days before, I'll just kind of like shut down and relax. But I'm also not, because I also just want to get caught up with shit. So am I really like taking time off? No. I'm just shifting my labor elsewhere. All right, so this is Obly. And here we go. I mean, notice how I'm like doubling stuff up here on stream. I'm on stream, I'm doing my vetting, and then I'm gonna live record the weekly, sort of. Like, that's that's how little time I give myself these days for like stuff. All right. Next, 15. So this is Twyleaf. So a couple more on US side. Where do I go? Oh. How dare they make me put effort into walking in the house? Why can't people write their blurbs into a document so they can copy paste into your form when the time to sign up comes? More forms? Do I want to do more forms? I'd have to figure out how to make that easy to manage on my end. There's a lot of, I already give myself a lot of trouble with like shifting things around and all that. That's not a bad idea. I'll need to figure out how to do it though, in a clean way. Is there a left and right here? No. Okay. Oh, what an interesting battle tag. Okay, 10. No, their own document on their computer, not another form for me to manage. Oh, why can't they do it? Oh yeah, they could do it. That's fine. Yeah, I'm not opposed to that. But not everyone reads the form, and not everyone follows directions. But they can do that, so I ain't gonna stop them. I got a screenshot of when Jake was passed out in the most recent visit. I just need time. That's what I do, but when they said it was only 4 spots, so it was yeah. I mean that's what happens. So, like what's funny is doing the visits themselves. That's like a break for me. You know, for me that's like all good times. You know, I'm managing the forms and all that stuff and going down the list and everything. But you know, once it's all done and it's showtime. When the show's over, though, oh my god, here's another something gigs of data to manage. You know, so it's tough. All right, so where is the entrance? All right. So that's the kind of balance that I sort of experienced there. Oh, okay, that's the person who has not did the thing yet. Okay, cool. So now off to EU stuff. We got 3 people to verify there. Yeah, they should have their blurb ready to paste. What sucks is that I can't really communicate that to people beforehand. You know, because there are people who are like if people ask here in chat, right? Then if you guys want to chime in and be like, yo, if you want to put in a blurb, here's how, you know, give them tips and all that. So definitely, if we get that opportunity, great. All right, so first off is Amaterasus. This guy's a frequent one, but they're also good. They've been very good on the time, so. Huge builds, as I recall. I think some of the exhaustion comes from me trying to, like, you know, I'm trying to make a whole system around Azeroth. That's clever. You know, trying to make a whole infrastructure around it that I can manage well. And where's the house? Is that up top here? Okay, it's higher, I think. Okay, that's fucking creative. I'll say that. Nice place. Wait, this is Amaterasu. I know his shit. He's fine. Then again, there's like nothing here. Is there? No, there's stuff. All right. High praise if I somehow remember your handle. There's a lot of them. But it's usually the repeats whose name I'll start remembering. Bussier. No, that's not it. Okay. Wait, did they? Oh, did they decline my invite? Oh shit. Oh, I guess they did. Shit. Hmm. Oh, you know, let me invite that new person. Should have done that before. Alright, so that request is sent. I don't know if they're in chat or not. So if I'm lucky, they'll hop on now and I'll be able to verify them. But then this other person rejected my invite. How dare they reject my love? And that happens too. So it's okay. So I think that's it. I think those are all my. That's all my betting. It's only really the one person on EU who was at least check out. Heal. All right, so just real quick. Okay, cool. They didn't sign up. All right, so let's hop on to the Peter. And then we'll see how Mouse's place looks and see what we can salvage. And if it's borked, then it's borked. Then we're all sad. That'll suck, because then it's only my version that'll survive it. Ugh. Yeah, I can't think of any. Well, I guess first let's see what. Oh, wrong thing. First, let's see what happens. Come on, Peter. Can you verify that if we've been maxing our Endeavor house, our XP every cycle that our houses will be able to install into level 12 when the next year starts? I don't have the math for that, Annie. I'm pretty confident, though, that you should be okay. Like, the XP that you get from getting new decor, it's not insignificant. You know, it's a decent amount, but by and large, Endeavors is what carries the XP gains. 100%. So I'm confident. I don't think it's guaranteed. I'm sure you'll be in a much more comfortable spot if you've been doing some collecting. So, like, I would say if you happen to have the spare marl, and if you have the spare marl and the spare storage, and we'll have more storage soon. If you wanted to, just buy stuff for like the +1, get some XP, cool. But the other thing you can do is look at what your experience is right now, and then if you go here into your housing dashboard and to Endeavors, I can't move shit right now, but right next to the Endeavor name, you see the XP thing, and then it says how much house XP is available, and then just math it out, and hopefully you'll see like the difference of what the original How About a Lot, because I already ruined half the house without filming the finished result. I'm so dumb. If you want my footage, I can give you the footage. I'm not sure if that. Okay, first let me see if the house works. Is it shit? Which one is it? I think it's this one. Yeah. What's the math for house level XP? I don't remember the values, but you can at least see what the level requirements are, and then how much XP from Endeavors are available. So I can do it all over again. It's only 20 hours. Shut the fuck up, dude. Oh god, what would I, if I had 20 hours to just claw back? Oh, what would I do with that, man? Time is so precious. Yeah, there's like a total XP number that you need that you need. So, and I think that is visible. And oh, how come? Yeah, the climb there is very tight. Okay, so that looks okay, minus the minus that, minus that little blemish. Oh, so same shit. So what moved? Like, was this ruined too? Check the other ship. Okay. It'll be more clear. Oh. Oh my. Okay, well, that's a thing. Let's we know it's back there. But let's go over here real quick and take a look. Yeah, this looks funny too. Okay, I'm tripping, or it's way brighter. Oh, it's because the damn things are like sticking out. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. It's way brighter because it's all wrong. That's all. Dude, I could fix this shit, man. Watch. Here, let me do this. So I'm just gonna take that and I'm just gonna, like, you know, boom. And then, like, you know, that's, I'm just kidding. Let me look at the other one. Just so we can all share in the PTR disaster that is, that we have. Still in the blueprint? Okay. No problem. Ah, that's doo-doo though, man. And then we go up here and oh no. Oh, you know what? It's okay. It's just the ramp that's jacked up. Just kidding. There's more of it that's jacked up. Yeah. Oh Christ, dude. Hey, the planet's good. Yeah. We're still good there, buddy. Okay, so and there you go. I sent it to Discord. So, fuck, man, that sucks. Yeah, the ship on this side though, like, oh man, I don't know what to do with this, man. Oh, okay, that one's all right. That one's cool. Visually though, this one was like the real spectacle though, man. Yeah. It wouldn't help if I gave you my footage, huh? All it would get you is like just that, you know. But I know that's not really your style. Is you want to like do more shit with it, right? Oh well, that's the Peter for you. And that's why I try not to do a whole, yeah. I tend to have really bad luck when it comes to PTR testing. Like sometimes I'll just run into like the worst stuff. Like right now, I can't do anything. I can, you know, of course, I've been covering like the like all the housing updates, so I'm feeling good there. But when it comes to like the bread and butter of things, it's like, oh no. So let's check these. Do I have tiles? I don't have tiles. All the tiles are out there. I want to play with them like just real quick though. Dorian, what's up, dude? What's good, friend? See, I try to remember names if I can. Alright, so I wanted to double check the alignment of the tiles. I think it's still off. But I think part of what happened is the way that the tiles and beams sit. I think those were adjusted, right? And hopefully they're adjusted in like a better way. So let's take a look. So I'll get some of those and these. And these. Because I know like one of the bugs that I put in was like these like rotate kind of funny. So we'll see what happens. Oh my god. That's... Ah! You can't import the blueprint I'm getting there, but hopefully they'll at least fix that. Double check real quick. Like sometimes, or like I believe when I was trying to import before, there was like a space, you know, after the code, that was somehow in there, and I'm like, oh, why isn't it imported? And then I hit backspace once, and then it worked, and I'm like, oh, okay. It was because what happened with me was I tried to import your code, and it included the additional space. It didn't give me an error. It just kind of like it was just hanging on the little rotating thing when I was trying to do. I'm like, okay, what happened? And then I hit backspace once. Oh, you did get the item list and everything? Okay. So that, yeah, that's further than I get. So it's I guess it's a different error that you're getting. What you should do now is just crash out, you know, full tirade over on socials. You know, this mouse is fucking mad. And then people will rally behind you. I obviously live in a weird kind of bubble, so I'm just gonna make the claim. I'm like, yo, like names like Custodian and Mouse and Cottage, they're like household names. Everybody knows them, right? You'd be like, who? Like, clearly these people are like uncultured. They have no idea what it's like over here in paradise. All right, I learned things. Let's go. Okay, we're not going anywhere, actually. We're going this way. Crash, I was... All right, so real quick. Tiles. Okay, I'll just... that. Okay, floor tiles. Cool. Oh. It is looking almost better. It's not perfect. And I demand perfection. So, all right, I gotta like, excuse me. I gotta look at this with a very careful eye. I'm looking for like any sort of like distortion. You know how when you see like things that clip and you get that little flickery kind of thing? I just want to see if it's happening here. And if it's not happening, great. That's rotating and copying. Oh yeah, I gotta sell that shit. I gotta sell my fishing nets. So I think these feel fixed. Now they might not be gigapixel perfect. Here, let me move these. Oh, shit. So you can see how... Okay, let's shoot. Let's move back. Actually... Yeah, it's not like... It's not perfect to like the micron, but I think that's okay. No, this is normal. So I think we're good. So you can see how they line up pretty darn flush. And again, it's not like perfect to the micron. But I think we are quite functional here. Yay. So, okay, I saved this blueprint. So I think I should be good with... No, I shouldn't. All blueprints might be ruined right now, so never mind. Maybe I won't do anything with that. Are they okay when they're sized up? Oh, great question. Let's find out. Right. Okay, so now remember these are small tiles. These are not the large ones. Okay, stop placing stuff automatically. Buster. Okay, so that looks pretty good. And then... yeah. I think we're in a pretty good place. Yay. Now, real quick with the wall panels. Or tiles. Oh, I only have large ones. Okay. Sure, no problem. Yeah, oh, no. Oh, that's not as good. Okay, so actually, let me line these up side by side. Yeah, wall tiles ain't so great. You can see that very slight flickering there. All right, and then we'll double check here with the floor tiles. Do I have large ones, actually? Oh, no. Okay, those large ones don't look so great. But I think the small ones are fine. So let me do this again with the small tiles. Nah, I can still see it. Shit. How come it looked cleaner before? Or was I just not noticing? Was it just harder to see? Yeah, maybe it was when it was bigger, it was fine. When it's normal size, though, I can... Okay, I can see it more. Here, let me try perpendicular. So, perpendicular looks fine. Right? I don't see anything there. Actually, yeah, I do. Shit. I gotta try really hard, but I can see it. So notice here, you see like that very, very slight kind of sticking out. Yeah. Nah, it's there though. It's still buggy. I mean, it's hard to see though. Like you gotta like, you know, just imagine it's like you have a magnifying glass and then, you know, you're right up there, you're like hella close, and then you're telling everyone it's clearly broken, you know? But it's still bug worthy. So, yes. Okay, so other things. Pillars. Moment of truth. Oh. Oh, wait. Hold on. Oh, actually, I think it's because because you see how the middle of the column, like it's not centered. That's why it looks like that. Okay, so here's like the check. So I'm going to say, oh no, they still like don't sit next to each other. Ah. and you know what? That might be intended. They might just not want it to. They might not intend for it to be placeable like that. So I'm only mildly annoyed by that. So like this, it's okay. It's not preferred, but I think this is more like a. This feels like it's more the intent. I just don't want it to be the intent. right? So there's, hey, this is a bug. It's the difference between, hey, this is a bug, and hey, this is a disagreement. I really prefer it like this. I mean, that said, having an array like this, uh, it will be nice to have, because boy, this is nice and clean, right? I do like that arrangement. So, and then how are these? Okay, I think these were always working okay. And then now, if people want to achieve like that whole log look, without having to use a whole ass pillar, or if they want to like change the color and all that, then they can do that too. So it's going to be expensive because all these those cost 3. The little stubby one, this only costs 1 though. So if you wanted to do like some weird shape, it would. This costs 1. This costs 3. So see what I'm getting at, right? This costs 3. This costs 2. So let's see. Recommend. I don't know what I'm saying. Did Blizzard post anything about the rotation bug with player housing? They said at one point, hey, can you guys transfer your houses over on the Peter and then see if the rotation bug happens? That was it. So usually don't stand still looking for imperfections? No. But I'll still bug it, and then it's going to be up to them what the urgency is. Now, now if it was me, let's pretend I have a job again, okay? If it was me classing this, I would class this as pretty high up. Here's why. The reason why I would take a bug like this and say that this is kind of an urgent thing is one, because it is a bug, it is a problem, but a big part of bug classification is to make the case of the severity of this bug. What are the repercussions and things like that. So I would probably campaign. I would need time to like really want to word this out so I can get stakeholders to like look to pay attention to something like this and make it compelling that they would want to fix this before launch. I guess the big thing for me would be if and when Blizzard does decide to fix this, because people are bitching about it, when they do fix it, that's going to cause a lot of problems, because there's going to be a lot of people who have already built houses and builds with this bug in place, that when they fix it, it's going to fuck up everyone's house. Because, okay, now we fixed it. Now it's going to now everyone's house is going to look a little bit off in a different way. There is no scenario where it's going to be like, oh, okay, we fixed the whole placement bug, and then now it just looks perfect on everyone's houses. That's nuts. That's very unlikely to happen. It's going to fuck things up, and people will be pissed. And so they'd be better off fixing it now, before it goes live, so that way you do the least damage possible to existing builds. So yeah, like Mouse's example. Now that was it was a very egregious bug with some of notably the square columns. Those were really fucked up. You had to rotate them in a certain way, and Otherwise, it's just weird. So when they fixed it, all that stuff ended up shifting in a weird way. So with this build, they got a lot closer, but it's not quite there yet. But if they don't fix it now, if they were to fix it later, they would screw up a whole bunch of people's builds, and that would just make for a shit experience. No one will like that. You know, think of like how it was with the dyes. That cost people gold. When the dyes were like altered and things just didn't look quite right. And, you know, it's cool that they're sort of making it right now, but sort of. Something like this would be pretty disruptive too. So that's why I'd make the case that, okay, this needs to be a pretty high priority. Get this thing fixed before it goes live. So boom. Now, would that work? You know, would they be cool with committing to that fix as opposed to possible other things? Maybe, I don't know. So. Wouldn't it be better to fix later after people could save their builds with new blueprints? No, because when blueprints are saved, they're saved in that certain state, in that certain condition. And so even if you fixed it, it's still going to bring this decor back into that same state. You know, it's not just people who might be, ooh, you know, I want to have like, you know, these panels arranged or these tiles arranged in this way. Maybe they're doing something else with it. Maybe they did like this weird thing where they made like this. Wait, see how this rotates? I think it has something to do with this, right? Instead, so the rotation point is in a corner, as opposed to like the center. So if you try to do something like this, like you can do it, but I think this is kind of the problem. Might have something to do with this. I mean, having this might not be bad. It just seems like it might not be like giga perfect. And you would need to have like some sort of measurement thing that, you know, we don't have these kinds of tools. So, but I'm just gonna say that, oh, it's very, very slightly off. Sorry, Blizzard. Nice try though. It's doing really good, but not quite there yet. Yay. Like the shirt reminds me of the burnt wood smell. Oh yeah. Old Jink shirt. Good brand. There was another shirt that I had from them. It was like the rock and roll racing one. That thing is pretty much done. Like it's so faded. There's pretty much nothing left on it. Like that stuff has been like peeling off like crazy. All right, so Blizzard says I'll would be great for since that was my former profession. Yeah, we'll see. Yeah, we'll see. All right. Can I manage to record a weekly out of this? I don't know. I mean, it's not like I have a script or anything ready either. I'm just gonna like just bring up stuff and then talk about it for a bit, and then y'all can bring it up with me too, and then I'll just like segment it later, figure it out. I made an ash burner on the ceiling, and when the bug appears every other day, it forces the window I use to make it sideways while rotating it. Oh, that's annoying. I mean, definitely, like, you know, you see bugs, continue writing them up and putting them out and, you know, making noise about it. You know, just like how we make housing requests, there's no shortage of bugs in this game. And, you know, part of QA's job is to not just find stuff, because it's not hard to find stuff, but there's also trying to make the case of, okay, this needs to be fixed now, as opposed to this other thing that also needs to be fixed now. So how do you prioritize a bunch of things that are high priority? And so you got to make hard decisions, or you have to like kind of like take acceptable shit. You know, okay, we just got to accept that this is going to be buggy and we're going to fix it within the first week or so, and then we'll be okay. So it's triage. It's triage. It is managing the pain, which obviously as consumers, that's unacceptable. It's also the reality of it. So if they wait till lots of things, then people's blueprints won't work because everything will be a slightly different position that won't line up. It won't line up in the code. It might not. You know, just like how Mouse's build is busted, same thing could happen here. You know, preferably try to fix these things sooner than later. Because one big risk with blueprints is if things go wrong and the blueprints break, to me at least, that feels like, it almost feels like data loss. So imagine this. Imagine you happen to have 4 places. You have 4 kind of complete builds. You love them. They're great. You switch between them for reasons, whatever. If one of your inactive blueprints breaks, that's the equivalent of losing your house or losing that build. To me, that's data loss. To me, that's a critical bug. Definitely don't want something like that. And so Blizzard will do everything they can to prevent that from happening, of course. But but you never know. You never know sometimes, man. So yeah, it'll kind of suck if there was like a website that happens to host a bunch of these and then all of a sudden like they just break. Like, oh shit, you know. So there's definitely this kind of tightrope that Blizzard's got to walk when it comes to updating like blueprints and making sure that these codes happen to work. Like it's not as simple as the UI stuff, because the UI codes, they're not just codes, that's all the data. Excuse me. The housing share codes that we have, they're only just, you know, little keys or whatnot. So the actual data is still stored with Blizzard. So we don't have, you know, we can't just download all the data like that. And I'm thinking to myself, even when, for those who remember when Wowhead had like this tool that was up for like a good minute, where you were able to pull up someone else's like name, and if they happen to own the house, you would pull up their house, and then you can like walk in. They had this whole like array and this whole like sandbox that you can go into. It was pretty gnarly, and people brought up privacy issues like real fast because you were able to just pull up anyone's name and do it. I'm like, wait a minute, that doesn't seem right. That's since been scuttled, but I guess the thought that I have is, you know, whatever Wowhead did, it's probably something similar where they don't literally download everything from the servers. They just call on it, and then the server spits it back out, and then that's what we see on their little sandbox thing. But it's kind of a neat nerdy thing to explore. Should I just do this out of order? Does it even really matter? I don't think it matters too much. So if I were to pull in a thing, but people can't really see it either. Oh, it's okay. Oh, I know what I'll do. I have an easier way of doing this. Do I also do EU house tours? Yes, I do. Yeah, I guess I'll just go in whatever order I feel like. So some good housing news happened to come out too. This happened in a number of tweets that came out, but also like some general updates or things that we've observed. One is that we can now have up to 100 pets inside the house. So pet beds and all that, by the way, they're very cheap. You can just go to the neighborhood. They only cost like a handful of gold. You can just buy as many as you want. And if you want to use 100 whole budget, housing budget, storage, whatever, to have 100 pets, fine. If you want to use 100, if you want to use all that budget to have a bunch of them out, that's fine too. And I believe, let me pull this up, these have a pretty high budget though, 5 to put out. So if you wanna, you know, really throw down and use up to what, 500 budget just for your pets, okay. Now, thankfully, with the patch, we're gonna have like a higher maximum budget if we reach level 12. It's pretty darn high. I think it's gonna go up to like 5,000, 6,000 or something like that. So it's gonna be pretty crazy, and you can use all that for your pets. So, if you want to do that, awesome. The other big thing that I can't really like show it on screen here, I don't think, but it's going to be hard to see. Our housing storage is also going to increase. So right now it's at 7,500. It's going to go up to 10,000. Very, very high. So that's going to help out a ton for having all our pet beds, as well as our bajillion filigrees and whatever. That's going to go up alongside total budgets and room budgets. So houses are going to get even crazier. They're going to get bigger. They're going to get nastier. And then, of course, there's all the new decor that's been introduced with this patch. I covered a lot of it, from the crafted stuff to some of these cool snazzy beams and tiles and all that, to even pre-built stairs. So that's going to be some welcome news on the housing front. I think that takes care of that part. And then I'll use B-roll for this one. Also in other decor news, Decor Duels is going to be ending with the upcoming patch. So what you want to do right now is take advantage of it, of course. There's currently this Final Surge sort of promo going, where you'll basically get double the currencies that you get from completing a match, and it's pretty easy to get. They're right now, at least, the queue times are really low. A lot of folks are doing them so they can like knock out getting their decor, their appearances, because the decor, while that is said to be purchasable with Marl after the patch, they didn't say anything specifically about the other things. There's like a mount. There's also some transmog appearances. So it might be in your interest to get those if you want to knock those out. Chances are pretty good, because we're in this kind of like different era, that FOMO of those sorts of items, that's probably not going to be a thing. They're going to come back somehow, some way. But I would safely argue the fastest way to get them would be like now. You'll be able to farm the core duels pretty fast and complete those collections that way. Now, there has been a lot of talk about like, oh my god, this is FOMO, you know, how do we not know about this? So I actually had to look. I wanted to double check, and I saw that in Icy Vein's coverage of the core duels, there were interviews that were done the week of April 20th or so. Icy Veins had covered it, and they said, oh, well, we're not sure if it's going to be a temporary event, or we're not sure how the schedule is going to be. Same thing happened in Wowhead. But the interview that I did with these developers, they said pretty plain and clearly that this is going to be a temporary sort of event. So I was actually kind of weirded out when I was seeing the reactions from folks, and I was like, wait, what? I could have swore, like, I covered this, and I said that, yeah, it's going to be a temporary event. Why are people acting so surprised? And it's because I think that I was the only person who said it, who you know, had that information out on hand. And you know, that information only goes so far when it's just me that's saying it. And I don't think my interview was covered in Wowhead, because they did their own thing. So kind of an interesting development there with how news does or doesn't get disseminated. But well, we kind of knew it already, but apparently not. It's kind of goofy though. Gosh, I remember you saying I was surprised that people didn't know. Yeah, so oh well. I mean, the crowd that's really reacting, the crowd that was reacting to this so strongly is typically the ones who are just like, well, I don't really care about the core duels anyway, but I want the rewards, so I'm just going to slack off until like it becomes a thing. But even without the interview, I still would have figured that you probably want to knock these out now, because it's easy to do. You know, you might as well just do it while, you know, do it early on when a lot of people happen to be doing it. The next best time to do it is when it's about to go away, because then a lot of people are like, oh my god, and so now they're hopping in again. But some folks are like, we're acting surprised, and you know, again, despite us having the information kind of sort of out there, you'd figure that would be the case, like in cases of like Plunderstorm and the core duels and other similar features where the mode really depends on players. It's not going to last very long because eventually people are going to get the things that they want and then they'll stop coming. What happened with the core duels, though, is slightly different because people who went back over and over again throughout the season, ever since the 12.05 patch, they were going back because the core was repeatable and they were getting more of it. Now, if the core duels was only like one-time transmog and pet and appearance collections, and you could effectively be done with it once you get a certain number of things, then you fall off. And so the fall off on the core duels would have been much harder. If in fact, it might have been like, all but dead if it wasn't for the core being a constant churning thing. So, in a way, that might be a learning lesson for Blizzard that, like, hey, that's one of the ways to keep certain events enduring is that, to provide something that has like this kind of like constant need and this little bit of urgency, but it's also something that's easy to jump in and out of, like the core duels. And I have a feeling that if Blizzard did want to, they could have kept it going, but in order to do that, in a way that feels more palatable, they would have needed to have just like added more decor, more maps, things like that, and they probably didn't. And so their best bet right now, there's okay, we'll go ahead and shut it down for right now, and hopefully maybe it'll come back later. It might not though, so we'll just have to kind of see. I like your opinion on decorating 2 of my corridors that link the rooms currently made, a Paladin Order room, a War Chief room, a Lich King room, but hit a snag on decorating the corridors. What would the procedure be? I don't want to take too much of your time. I'll need some specifications there, so let me reread that. I want to get your opinion on decorating 2 of my corridors that link the rooms. So you have a Paladin Order room, a War Chief room, and a Lich King room. So do you have like a main room and then 3 wings? Something like that? Basically the entrance room and a corridor room. If you want, this will probably help Arcad, because I'm trying to do a recording too. If you want to mock up a quick layout on the WoW housing database, WoW, I forgot what it's called exactly, but if you just Google WoW housing database, it's the one that MMO Champion does, and just show us the layout, that'll help. Because at the moment, I'm failing to visualize what you're trying to put together, and then I can help you out with that. Hello, Miss Annie. Just had a phone load for a 5.8. Oh, 5.8. Man, shit. Well, I don't mean to be reductive on like earthquakes. Earthquakes can be like hella scary. I mean, not everyone lives in like an earthquake-proof area. Like, over here we're just like, oh, 5, and whatever. There we go. It's like wake me up when it's like a 6 or something like that. Or if it's like close. So it's hard to not talk about, like one of the biggest news things that happened this week, that whole drama over apparently, and I guess this is factual now, a GM had assisted a group with clearing a key using GM powers. Now, I want to handle this carefully because I want to kind of like take all the emotion out of the story. I just want to talk about like what happened and all that. I don't want to dox. I don't want to bring up like, oh my god, like it's the streamer who's involved. It starts to kind of devolve from there. So just going with the facts that we know, and I admit I don't have all the facts like on hand. I'm just kind of like going, playing it by ear. Actually, let me pull this up instead. I mean, it is a very interesting story. In fact, probably the better way to do this, it would be to just read off the blue post that is the latest news, the latest update, and maybe the last word from it. So as we mentioned, says Blizzard, we internally monitored and confirmed a recent incident in which a WoW group gained an unfair advantage by abusive access to development-only spells on a live realm. Our tools confirm what was also surfaced in community discussions, and we've investigated the incident carefully. We can confirm this was the action of a single Blizzard employee in violation of our code of conduct. This employee is no longer with the company, effective immediately. We're also taking action against player accounts that were complicit in this violation. And we're going to do kind of a breakdown of what happened here. It's always been the case that a small number of Blizzard employees can use developer tools and spells on live servers. This lets us test and make urgent fixes to the live game when they're needed. Every use of these internal spells and commands on live realms is logged and shared with our platform security team, plural, to help ensure that the occasional use of this access is warranted. The use of development tools for anything other than development work is against company policy. It's because of the process we have in place around use of these tools, so we're confident this incident was isolated to the one individual. We want to thank those of you in the WoW community who reached out with information and real concern for the integrity of the game, as well as the community sites that are also working to remove the results of this violation from their records. When your findings line up with ours, it helps us confirm our own tools are catching what they should, and we're grateful for the way we work alongside you to protect the game and each other. Yay. So working our way backwards, big credit to those in the community who were involved, from the person who was part of this key, who uploaded this thing in the first place. That's what really, like, you know, Sunlight is like the best cure for stuff like this, right? The more that's revealed, the more that, you know, the faster these sorts of investigations can go. So that way punishments and, you know, actionable things can happen. So, you know, big kudos to that person who was involved with it, and the fact that we even have an infrastructure of logs, so that way people can disseminate and all that. And I want to keep like the possible doxing and personalization and emotion out of it. Again, we're just kind of like going with what happened. I do appreciate a Blizzard response, and I was underestimating it myself. I remember when this first happened, like I was like, okay, I don't know if we have like all the facts, you know, people are saying this, there's like suddenly interviews. It felt like the story was taking a life of its own. And, you know, I was just kind of like watching and be like, okay, this is happening like really fast. And I wasn't sure if the coverage here was possibly being tainted by folks who were just, you know, playing telephone, and then we would start exaggerating things, and then especially with people like doxing and naming names and things like that. So I was like, okay, I feel like I want to stay away from it and just kind of stick to the plain facts of things. I do find it fascinating that I guess apparently when it comes to using GM powers, there's like NORAD level kinds of detection. Like, okay, it's almost as if, you know, when someone uses a GM power, I guess apparently it kind of sets off alarms. It's as if it's like, oh my god, there's been a missile launch. And then you can imagine like Blizzard HQ, like, brrr, brrr, and people are like, oh my god, who did? It's obviously not like that. I have a feeling that when it comes to their internal tools that track this sort of stuff, I'm sure it's not like this real time, oh my god, it happened. It's probably like they check in like every week or month or something like that. They see a log of like stuff that happens, and then, you know, someone audits it and then looks into it, and then they decide, oh, okay, this is kind of weird, or this is kind of normal. And so a tweet that I put out the other day, I was kind of questioning, I wonder if it wasn't for the live logging on the community side, and then the person who uploaded it, if not for that, how long would it have taken for Blizzard to detect that, you know, under their normal policies? Because it sounds like they have a normal policy, but it's probably not a real-time policy, as if it's like, you know, a live game and you have like a live review of everything that happens as it happens. I kind of doubt that. Posted a screenshot of the floor plan. Your Discord when you got time to check. Okay. The way I read the blue post is that this person was the only person to abuse it. However, they didn't specify if this was just a one-time thing. Yeah, and we don't know. For all we know, these things might have happened before. And yeah. a big part of the urgency of this story in the first place is the possibility of competitive WoW feeling tainted. It's like, okay, how do we trust these anymore? Can we go back and see like all the logs that were ever done in an effort to preserve the integrity of things? And so I guess that's why Blizzard wanted to come out with these kinds of statements, so they made as clear as possible what kind of actions they're taking. So the dude got fired, right? And that's just part of like what feels like a normal process. Like if we kind of like take a step back from this, what Blizzard did here, it's not so different from other similar situations where if someone was hacking or if there was like some sort of exploit that was done, what do they do about it? So in a case like this, it's kind of not exactly gray, because obviously someone did something wrong. But there's a lot of folks who are out there being like, oh, okay, the whole team, minus the tank who reported this in the first place, that all of them should be punished. They should all get like IP banned, their accounts nuked, and that sort of thing. And of course, I feel the same way. Like something's got to be done if they were, as they say here, complicit in the situation. Now, I'm also wondering to myself, like, somewhere in the code of conduct, in the player code of conduct, these people did something wrong. But as for the actual actions that happened, it's not like they have the power to nuke mobs with one shot. They called up their dude. They're, yo, do me a solid, or whatever it was. So it wasn't exactly them that did it, but one of them among the group was like kind of the mastermind behind it, and then the other people were cool with it. So how do you punish that? And I'm, we all have our opinions, and none of them are wrong. It's just a question of like, what exactly was Blizzard going to do? Because reportedly, some of the members of this party, they were still doing keys after this statement came out, and so some people were like, oh well, okay, they're just gonna get a slap on the wrist, or nothing's gonna happen to them, or oh, it's because this and that. So people are making up stories. And so while it's great that they said all this, there's also what they didn't say, or what they did or didn't do, that's causing this story to continue to kind of smolder a bit. But it is nice that they said and did something. Lava's not a fan. From a coworker brought me a piece of Hawaiian and sent it straight back. Lava? Wait, what? If a 5 happened here, it'd be news for a month or more. Oh, talk about earthquake stuff? Oh, that's crazy. I mean, what was the last big one? I think it was Venezuela, something like that. That was crazy. That was crazy. Any thoughts on this story? Anyone in chat that wants to chime in on it? I don't mind bouncing off some extra thoughts and flapping of gums. Ban them all to the end of the season, since all 4 of them weren't logins, so they knew what they were doing was wrong, and removed them from the title rewards. Yeah, I wonder what would be like the bestest punishment. I mean, one thing would be, just banning them, but they could always just make another account and do it again. So that's like their history gone and all that. People are naming and shaming. Cool, I guess, if you wanted to do that. I mean, at the very least, like whatever things that they had done should be undone. So like take away their titles, or remove them from contention. Banning them for a couple months can easily do that too, on top of removing possible titles. So I don't know, like it's not like they committed like a crime. Like they can't get fired, they can just get banned. Like that's about it. The worst part of the story to me is the attitude the players have towards this whole thing. If they were more contrite, it would go a long way. That's a word I don't use often. Contrite. Something contrarian. Feeling empathetic. Empathetic to who? Oh, you mean if the players, you mean the violators, if they were remorseful? Ah, got it. I once heard an earthquake siren. It was crazy. It had a voice announcement like the usual sirens, but I don't think it speak the local language. So I was like, oh well, apparently we're getting twice. No, for me, it's for us over here. It's like we'll get a like we have like a state alert system. I'm in California, by the way. Hi. We'll get a state alert system. It just says earthquake happening. Find a thing, and then it'll give us a quick ping of like the location of where it is relative to our position. So if it's like, oh, it's 100 miles away, or it's this this far away, and so I'll usually just look. I'm like, oh, okay, and then I'll get back to doing my visits. Like that's it. Yeah. I think people need to understand Blizzard's policy is not publicly announced sanctions. Like when you report something, you know the results, so we should not expect to hear what happens to the players. At the same time, players are super nosy, right? And so that's where we see some of the alleged reporting that's oh my god, I still see them like logging stuff onto Radar.io, and they're still clearing stuff. So that's what makes people worried that these people, they're continuing to act with impunity and all that stuff. And it sends up, and I feel like it does send a bad message. Now, again, like those folks, they didn't have power on their own, right? It's not like they nuked the mob. They didn't pull the trigger. They just told a dude to do it, and now their way of doing it, they can't do that anymore. But also, we kind of think to ourselves, okay, if they are that amoral, what else would they do? Would they resort to hacks and things like that? And do we want those kinds of players even around? I think it's a good question to ask. The easy answer is no. That's kind of my answer too. So but as for how they handle it, I think they want to just make sure that they cover their bases, and they have the room. I think they have the room to do it. Like, they put out the statement, that's one thing, but it's not like there's a certain urgency to do it either. No one's gonna die, no one's gonna bleed out from this. It's just kind of like, okay, rankings are gonna change, and we have like a couple of weeks to do it. So what they ultimately do, and for all we know, they might do something before this video goes live. Cool. I don't think a ban is needed for them. Having their account marked for all pugs like a scarlet letter would be interesting. Well, people are already doing that. Like I said, people are naming and shaming. They're trying to dox, or maybe they successfully did. And so, what I don't buy into is, ultimately it's a video game. We don't need to like harass those folks on a personal level. Harass them on a professional level. Whatever that means. But you know what I mean. It's just bad form. We don't need to like sick the mob on them. But that's also the reality of the world. Whenever we get that sort of chance to name and shame someone, and then we get to feel good about doing it because we're so righteous and pure and all that, then people will do it. And it's hard to fight. Players in the front will get fired for it and still ask them to do it, and so on. Yeah, and that's just a way of, wow, I guess they just really didn't care about their job. But you know what? Sometimes logic will get thrown out the window in the name of something or other. And all of a sudden it doesn't matter. So I am glad that the dude was fired, because that, to me, that's like the most, that's the easiest thing for Blizzard to do. I'm like, oh, okay. It's like fixing a bug. Bug fixed. Boom. Exploit closed. Hole plugged, whatever you want to call it. And then that's done. So on their end, that's a big relief. And then the rest is not exactly politics in terms of like how they treat things, or how they punish these players and how that's perceived by others, but sort of. So it's just playing like the perception, the optics game now. And frankly, and personally, I think it would just be easier to just ban them, be done with it. It kind of ends the conversation. Yeah. by not banning them, it lets that linger. So I guess the question on their heads is, how long do we want this to be a story? And would it be okay if they, you know, is there a downside to just outright nuking their accounts? Your Battle.net account is just dead now. I don't think there is. It seems like that's what you get. So, and if they don't care, they could just prop up another account and then do it again. But at least they were punished. So it'd be cool if this was a big publicity stunt to announce classic. Well, I'm not sure about that. But this is kind of funny. Like, even on this channel, we have seen I've had to ban more people like in the past week or two than I have in like months, years even. And all of them have been private server people. So I'm like, get out of here, dudes. Weirdos. Okay. I think I mouthed off on that one enough. That was the biggest one too. Because what else do I got? The other things for this week are pretty light by comparison. So I've been so busy, I haven't really been paying attention to like the latest memes and pop culture stuff and all that. And you know, when I saw this whole Jimothy thing, I'm like, okay, real quick, and then that whatever, back to work. I didn't realize it blew up this much. A guildmate, I think they might be here in chat, they were talking about how their office was like pushing, you know, starting to create products or something related to this phenomenon, apparently. And I'm thinking to myself, have I seen this kind of condition in other places around? No, we see mostly squirrels up in, you know, up where we live. Yeah, not too much with raccoons and all that. But this thing's just awkward. So anyway, what's happening is that Blizzard paid attention. They paid enough attention to this, and this is going to become a non-com. I don't know if it's going to be a zero combat pet, but you know what I mean. It's going to be a pet in WoW in the future. I don't know when, but it's going to be a thing. And I believe they clarified in a Reddit post that it's not going to be a shop item or anything like that. It's going to be something that you can earn in game. That's it. That's the story. But it's just kind of, it's kind of goofy. Earlier this week, there was like this thing. There was some data mined information that rocked the lore side of WoW Twitter. It was a data mining thing, and I'm not going to talk about it, what the data mine thing was, but it basically said, it was like, oh, this suggests the epilogue of this upcoming patch of 12.1. So after the raid, there's like going to be like this thing happens, and part of the script was leaked. Apparently, according to one of the top data miners out there, for Marleman, that data mine script was edited. And now inside that, this whole data mine text thing is a line that straight up says, this script is out of date, it's not being used. And so I'm wondering to myself, okay, is it not being used because there's like a minor change to it? Or has like this entire context of this spoiler, because I'm not going to talk about it, is the entire context of the spoiler being thrown out? The reason I'm bringing this up is is to just kind of point out how much folks rely on data mining, and how data mining becomes news, and then it becomes fact, and then it becomes reactions, and possibly a lot of wasted energy. Because for all we know, things, you know, it might not really happen. I fondly remember, I believe towards the end of Legion, there was a little something that was data mined where some NPC had said, oh, Illidan is now the jailer's keeper is now the jailer of Sargeras or something like that. And then so people reacted to that really hard and all that for a good minute. But then all of a sudden, like when it went live, it wasn't said. And so while we can certainly, you know, the ending cinematic certainly alludes to the idea that Illidan is the jailer of Sargeras, we don't know that for sure. You know, for all we know, and I joked about this a whole bunch of times, like for all we know, like after the whole cinematic and Illidan's like, all right, it's game time, you know, oh, you're mine now. And then the Titans might be like, who is this little gnat that showed up? And so they just kind of imprison Illidan again, be like, freaking stowaway, you know. And so they're like doing their thing. They're just kind of like trading beers and all that stuff, kicking around Sargeras because it's a punk, you know, hazing them and all that. Like, oh, look at you, Sargeras, you screwed up, you loser. And Sargeras is like, oh man, whatever, dudes, let me out of here. And then they're all just kind of chilling and vibing because they're Titans. And that's just what they do. And the Illidan's like, what? Wait, is this all just a game to you? And then they're like, look at this guy trying to talk. Crazy. So, you know, for all we know, that's going on. I'm sure it's not. But people tend to get, just like how I do, get carried away when we learn like little things, even if they may not be true, and like take it really far. But that's part of the fun too, I guess. You know, it helps to keep WoW in the news, even if it might ultimately not be true, and if it might not put WoW under the best light. It's just kind of fun to bring up anyway. Is this because of the Dane girl? Yeah, that. It's that thing. So for all we know, those are like really early notes, Jolly Good Fella, and like either part of it changed or it's like totally different. You know, like at the end of 12.1, Transformers come out and they're like, yes, you know, it's our time now, and now weird shit's happening. So it could be that for all we know. So Classic Plus comes after Last Titan becomes its own game version. Do you think we'll only be getting 2 more remixes? I don't know. I know that in a recent thing, Ian said that, oh, remixes are like a cool thing and we want to keep doing them. Same thing with Collector's Bounty, but we want to be careful because we want to manage expectations and manage like how special those things are. If we do it too much, then it alters player behavior. But yeah, the fact that we only have like so many left, I mean, that's a thing. But also, is there a scenario where they can just bring back a remix again? Like, what if they did the MOP remix again? 1 for 1, exactly as it was. Would that be okay? Probably not, because people would be like, we want more stuff, or we want, well, if anything, the one change I'd want from the MOP remix would be like, can we get weapons more easily? Because that was a pain in the ass before. And I know I gave up on trying to get it. But would that be okay? Would that be palatable for people? You know, for those of us who are like, oh, I want to finish everything, cool. We don't, you know, it's going to provide no value for us. But is that okay? The game is more than just us, so. Shadowlands or BFA remix for the win? I would be more for BFA. To me, BFA is a more sustainable remix. Because imagine, how would that go? Like, if they were to try to borrow things from the Legion remix, such as Heroic World Tier, that wouldn't really work in Shadowlands because there's just not a lot to do out in the world in Shadowlands. At least with BFA, you had this whole big ass campaign, you know, and there was some replay value playing playing both factions. To me, that felt better. Shadowlands was very like shallow. It was very thin on questing. And so while the remix ultimately turns into farming the raids and keys, like what happened with the remix, at least the Legion remix had a lot of outdoor stuff to be offered in World Quest and everything like that. By comparison, Shadowlands ain't got shit. That thing sucked, man. At least with BFA, like there was like a good variety with the assaults, the war campaign, and all that. But that's just not really being offered the same way in Shadowlands. So it's mostly for that reason why, if they're going to do a remix, do BFA, and I don't know if I'd even bother with Shadowlands. I would just skip it. A lot of people make the case for Shadowlands because they just want they just don't want to farm anima. And I don't, and while I get that, I don't think that's a good enough reason to elevate Shadowlands to be a remix, just because they don't want to get, they don't want to farm the anima. And that's kind of what Ian was alluding to when it came to like messing with people's expectations, or like kind of messing with player behavior. It's like, oh, why bother doing all this? I'll just wait for the remix. And so I think they want to be very careful about that. I enjoy Justfire plus Shadowlands is all broken apart into zones and zones. And you can't fly from one zone to another. I mean, you could. It was just a long flight, baby. Very long flight. But I thought that was a cool concept, though. It wore out after a while. But I thought that was kind of cool, because you are going to a different universe. It would feel very odd if Shadowlands was just like, one landmass, and then you had like this weird portal system, because you would still only have like one. You would still have to like kind of have like a tunnel or a portal-like thing to take us from one realm to another, and they decided to handle it that way. Give that whole semblance of, okay, we're actually traveling through space or whatever, and we're trying to get to the next spot. What is a private server guy? I don't understand what it means when you say the non-soul TOS people have to be banned for bad behavior. Well, the private server person I banned from Twitch here because they were basically, they wanted to advertise their a private server. I'm like, no, I'm not having that, so I'll dump you. That, and they were just trash talking anyway, so I'm like, why would I want you here? During a housing visit. During a housing visit, when the title of my streams say pretty clearly, hey, we're doing WoW housing stuff, and then you come in and you try to advertise. Yeah, that's not cool. Yeah, private WoW server. That's what I mean. So I'm like, get out of here, dude. I don't want your butt. Alright, let me do other things while I'm here. Not here, but let me hop back onto live stuff. I haven't done alchemy stuff all week, man. I've been awful. I've been awful. I did see that there's going to be a new healing pot coming in the patch. I don't know how to get it yet. I think it's just a renown thing. So hopefully my alchemist can get it easily. If not, then I'm just going to transition my alchemist from health pots to tempered pots, or whatever they're called. Tempered potions? I think that's the good one. So it would just be that instead. So I'm good with that. Because what do we need for that? So to make a... Crap, where is it? It's a light potion, right? Light fuse thing... Shit, can I make it? Void potions, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, where is it? Light potion. Oh, light's potential. There we go. Not tempered potion. It's this thing. So what does it take? Three root, 3 argent things. So it'll be more expensive, but I can do it. Yeah, it would be fine. It would be fine. In the meantime, though, I'm still going to... Yeah, I'm like totally maxed out. So let's just do these things real quick. Yeah, I just forgot the name. Alright, so what else are we up to this weekend? Yeah, aside from possibly watching a movie, relaxing for the most part. This is my week to go up to my in-laws' place, so I'll be away from the computer. I'll be away from some of this, and I'll be able to like try to relax a little bit, but I'll just be like stressing. So I gotta try to like forget about work for a bit. You're like, you need a flying rabbit? Flying rabbit. Oh, that's right. There's that new shop thing that came out. That's not interesting to me. I don't really feel like talking about it. Are they cutting the lumber cost in half for next patch? Is it a way to? It is way too much to drag for one to get lumber since I really wish Blizzard would make it lumber BOEs come out of the auction house. They're cutting the lumber cost from midnight stuff, but they're leaving the rest alone. And that's it. Yeah, I believe that's it. I know that people have concern, people have shared concerns about the lumber costs. It's like, oh, this is taking forever it's taking forever to farm. We should be able to get more. And they've been making very conservative adjustments, very small kinds of buffs. And then the lumber nerf, the reduced cost of lumber for midnight stuff, that's pretty significant. Especially because it's the current expansion. I would have figured that they could have reduced the lumber costs for all the old ones and left midnight alone, knowing that people are like more present here and it's more likely that they'll just be able to easily farm stuff here. Personally, I don't buy into the idea of like, oh my god, we need to make these BOE we need to make them not warbound, or we need to make them really easy to get, because if you do, then you just tank the whole value of the core, and then it's just like, okay, what's the point? Because obviously there's going to be someone who will constantly say, oh, this is too much of a pain in the butt, and they'll always keep saying that until it's basically free, and then with no friction, and then you're kind of done. But I kind of buy into the idea of there being an economy around the core. Also, the market of crafted the core, there's only so much. There's quite a few recipes. And there are a number being added in the upcoming patch as well. That's cool. I think that's nice and healthy. But that's not all. It's not like the core is the only way to. It's not like crafting stuff is the only way to get the core either. You can always just not get it, or work around it, or think of an alternative. Yeah, same thing with legacy resources. It's gonna sound mean, but I'm not very sympathetic to it. You want it, there it is. Go get it. If people are like, oh, it takes too long, my response, and I know this is gonna come off as cold, my response to that is, oh, where you gotta be? What's the rush? Just kind of do it at your own time, or think of something else while you're building, while you're slowly getting the mats that you need for that. It's kind of like there's a certain, and I can understand this, there's a certain impatience. It's like, yo, I want my dopamine fix. I want to feel fulfilled and have this finished thing like now. Why can't I have it now? And people respond to that a little bit differently. I agree if they're not going to increase the lumber drop amount across the board. They're increasing the lumber drops from old content or current content would make more sense. Yeah, that's what I would have thought. Can you check the price for Maldraxian Rune? What's that? I don't know what that is. Is that a decor thing? It's a decor. Sure. I can check that for you. As soon as I can get my browser to display. At the same time, I'll show you a little tip. So let's see, what is it called again? Mal Draxian Rune. Okay, maybe it's not called that. Maldraxian Runic Tablets. There we go. How much might this go for? We can get it for maybe Moonguard's probably the place to go. Illidan probably too. So you're looking at 5-6K per thing. And there's your answer. On EU goes for 20. Okay, let me pull up EU. Oh, can I usually do that here? Can I usually like switch regions here? Let me just pull up an EU thing. Do it once. And then we'll see if it does like that auto tracking down here. It looks like this does. So yeah, it looks like these are the things. So you might see some here. I would say probably 10K. Try Draenor. That might have some. But yeah, just go down the list and then hunt for it. So the Undermine Exchange is hella useful, by the way. It's not like real-time checks, but it's pretty darn good if you're shopping across different realms. Yeah, that's the other thing. Like, if you see something that's really expensive and you're like, wow, dude, that is like crazy, I need a bunch of those and it's hard to get or whatever, that's kind of a sign that maybe you should make it and sell it. If you can, you know. If you don't have a profession handy, then okay, you know, no big deal. But if you are just looking to buy stuff, then, you know, shop around other realms. That's the way to do it. You know, once you find a spot, just dump some gold into your warbank. Make a character that is on that realm. Grab the gold out of that warbank, buy the stuff, use it, you're done. I did, but 30 glimmer for each is annoying to get. But that's all it is, though, right? It's just a little bit of time and kind of a nuisance to get, but it is extremely accessible. I don't think that can be argued. I'm not going to argue that if you feel annoyed by it, but it's very accessible. So, sorry, I'm not all that, like I said, I'm not all that sympathetic to the cause for like crafting the core. I guess the one exception would be some of the recipes for crafting the core. Some of those are hard to get. Some folks are whining hard about, I think it's like some of the Delve recipes, and so people are like selling those if they can get away with it. I have no time. Achievements supposed to be completed in current content. I have never had time to do content. Bring on the collectors a bounty ASAP. Yeah, I doubt they're gonna do it. I think if they're gonna do it, I mean, okay, I don't know when they're gonna do it, but if I were to make a decision on it, it'd be after the saga's over. So it won't be until like 2030, which sounds like forever from now. It really sounds like so long from now. So let me just say 2029. Is that more palatable? Of course it's not. There we go. I might just buy the jewel crafting statue recipe. I'm sort of over farming the soiree traders. Oh, so that's where it comes from. Oh, wow. I don't mind how at the end of the season, but after new season goes live, I don't really have that much time with my work schedule. I work 3 shifts of 12-hour days. I mean, it sounds weird, but I'm right there with you. I barely have time to play the game. I'm doing, you know, like the housing stuff and all that. You know, it's fun what I do, but I actually don't have a lot of time to like, all right, guys, I'm going to make an alt, or I'm going to farm for transmog and stuff. I just don't either. So I feel you. But I'm also the type who's like not gonna be, oh my god, I can't get this done, and Blizzard needs to cater to me for something like this. That's not me either. So health pots. There we go. Find the lumber part, the least painful to do. It's very straightforward, you know? Especially old world stuff. It's like, oh. Remember Once Upon a Time? Okay, not even Once Upon a Time. Remember when we had to farm for resources and there were not specializations or anything like that, and you just got your like 1 to 3 every time, and sometimes you had to PvP for it, which would be, you know, kind of hilarious. All right, that's right. I'm not doing anything yet. I'm just doing I'm just working the table stuffs. Just working the table. People don't have limitless time. You have to figure out what your priorities with the time you have. That's life. Sometimes it's hard because, you know, some people think to themselves, yo, it's a video game. I should, you know, the video games are designed to give me that dopamine fix, right? I get it. You know, I totally get the argument. But it's not entirely designed for that here either. You know, it's kind of managed in an insidious way. Oh, you have your lobby alts do the lumber farming for XP? It's not a bad plan. Yeah, it's not a bad plan. It's a way to kind of double things up and all that. Of course, if I'm in current content, you know, I'm going to be like, okay, I'm going to preferably be on my main or whatever. Whatever's an efficient killer. Collector's bounty up at the end of midnight. Oh, you think it's the end of midnight? Oh, that's generous. Because here's the question. What would we include in this collector's, you know, we had collector's bounty during War Within, right? If we have collector's bounty now in midnight, what will be added to collector's bounty? You know, what new thing comes? So the case that I'm trying to make here is if they do another collector's bounty, but it's like really limited because, you know, maybe many of us have collected all the mounds and all that stuff. There's going to be a lot of people who are like, okay, I'll just do like a little bit and like that's it, which is cool. But I feel like a big part of the enjoyment from collector's bounty was the catharsis of, oh my god, I've been trying to get this thing for like years and years and years, and it's fine. I'm finally going to get my chance to, you know, this increased chance to get it. If there isn't enough of that wait time, that same catharsis ain't going to come. You know, that whole psychological hit, it's not gonna hit the same way, because in some of our cases it's gonna be like, okay, I gotta get like a couple things, like that's it. And I think that'll land differently and in such a way that people will be like, oh, you know, they could have waited. But also it creates that, like I was saying earlier, it creates that expectation of, oh, we need to have collector's bounty like every expansion. And because of that, now I'm not going to care about the fangled system that Blizzard made to get these items originally. I'm just going to wait. And that would be a really boneheaded idea if they were to basically trip over their own design. So whenever this conversation comes up, I'm going to be pretty consistent until I'm wrong. Or right. Usually wrong. But sometimes I'll nail it. Yes, I respect, but I don't know why you all Indian think it would be bad. I'm pretty sure I just explained it. I'm very confident I'm recording right now. If I explained it poorly, that's different. But I'm pretty sure I tried. Yeah, I feel bad for the I guess in some ways I'm a bit of a sociopath when it comes to like the idea of FOMO. I'll just kind of like look sort of like deadpan. I'm like, I don't get it. Oh, I gotta make a thing more. Actually, here's a great example of FOMO right now. The fact that I can't adequately test the PTR. To me, that's a different consequence. To me, that's money. It's like, yo, I'm trying to make a living here, guys. What do you mean I can't get past this quest? I'll probably check it like a little bit later today too, or hell, when I'm done with this, maybe I'll check the PTR and see if that quest can complete, and if not, sad song. I think the new players coming to WoW for housing, this game must be so overwhelming for any new player, and if they want things, but current content pacing is brutal, so yeah. That's a really hard perspective to sit in, and I struggle with it too. What would a new player think? What would a brand new player think? Would they understand, could they even comprehend the scope of what's available in this game and the decor and all that stuff? Like, are they going to walk in and be like, all right, cool guys, how do I get to level 12 housing? Right? Or how do I make this build? So I don't think they have any idea what any of that means. You know, they'll be busy being like, so auto run is what again? How do I program that? Yeah. So that's something I don't exactly buy into, because if you overwhelm someone with accessibility, it's easy to get lost. So like even now with, I guess we're using housing as an example. We're using housing as an example. And I would say that neighborhood stuff is incredibly robust. You can make all sorts of stuff. You know, and maybe someone will look at that and they'll be like, oh, well, I want more than this. Okay, that's cool. You know, there's the whole catalog if you want to like take a look at stuff. But at the same time, I feel like when you're introduced into housing, it already feels overwhelming because you don't really get much to start with anyway. There's your house, you know, there's the vendors are over there. Start making gold. So there's that. There's going to be like the immediate gold barrier, but it's really like their prerogative. If like they're here for just housing, they're gonna pay the price, literally. You know, they're gonna struggle because they don't know anything about the rest of the game, but they want to get into housing. At the same time, we have folks that are like, okay, this is my first time playing WoW, but hey, I hit 3.4k score on the thing because that's what they wanted to get into. But then they, you know, grew themselves into that and they just did it. So, but it's because of there being so much to do, it's up to that player to decide for themselves, oh, how do I consume 20 years of content really fast? I don't think that's a fair ask to make the past 20 years of content like super accessible for players when, you know, we waited 20 years to do the same thing. To me, that makes no sense. New people are going to see everything else in G's where they start. Collector's Bounty makes you go everywhere in WoW, but they won't even know where to go and how to get there. So it's like, oh yeah, you just got to go to ICC for that. Oh, how do I do that? The door's closed. Well, you know, so okay, actually no, the door's not closed. But there's like so much other accessibility that goes into some of these other places that, you know, they're not going to get it. So how do you condense that? I don't think you can. Not reasonably. And that would feel unfair to try to balance the game around that. It's like, you know, let's give people a chance to actually learn about the game first before pushing the whole collection and stuff. It can wait. They're getting in, you know, they're getting in here. They're getting into this game after 20 years. They can wait a little bit longer. Okay, why is that? Oh, it's because that's checked. Okay, that's why it's doing weird stuff. No. Now we'll work. Okay, there we go. Yay. I mean, my thing is just let them figure it out for themselves. Let them figure it out for themselves. But yeah. I think I've said everything that I need to say. So all we're gonna do is we're not gonna logic our way through this. We're just gonna continue to agree to disagree. Like, yeah, I mean, gold making is one thing. But then again, gold making is pretty accessible too. How do I make gold? Just use your mouse and hover over the tooltips once you unlock world quests, and you know, find the biggest number, and then press DPS buttons. So that's like most of it. How do you make gold more efficiently? Different conversation. Is it because I said mouse? Is that why? They have to decide when to start the latest phase of WoW and create a guided experience through it. How? You know, that's the multi-million-dollar question. How do you do it? How do you do it? Blizzard hasn't figured it out. The ideas that we've seen are crazy in scope. You know, but you know, there are ideas going around. Haven't really looked up any in recent memory. I don't know if people have pioneered new ideas. I will never not help new players get up to speed. It's easy to say let them stumble around for a while just because they discovered WoW. I want new players to have a great experience and not struggle like I did. Right, but I also don't want them to get easy. I also don't want. I also don't want a yearly collector's bounty. You know, I think we can have both of that. So, you know, bringing it back to that original topic. So, I think there are different approaches to that, or there are different directions we can go there. Were there any other big topics for this week? Not really. It wasn't too much. It was mostly like that whole. It was mostly the whole key thing. Every year at the end of every X pack, and so you're saying every expansion? I forgot what I said before. I think before I said every other expansion. Yeah. Every other expansion, because every expansion just means I'm not even going to bother trying this expansion, knowing that the next expansion, it's just going to be hella easy. Because and it's kind of funny that too, because not only do you have the increased drop rates, you also have legacy mode kick in at the same time. So that's why I think like player behavior would just get really like thrown out of whack. Of course, I'm also I've also been saying we shouldn't get a remix every year, every expansion either. I think that's irresponsible. But oh well. Uh, Done here, right? Not this. Real question is what happens after next expansion with WoW 2? There's no WoW 2 being leaked, dude. We're on WoW. We're on WoW 12 right now. So y'all gotta get caught up. Yeah, there's no scenario where it's like, hey guys, we did this whole thing with player housing and we're putting these things together and we're trying to do our best to make sure that the whole rotation thing for the decor works right. But also we're gonna convert to a whole ass new engine in like 4 years or something. So fuck it all. Yeah. Yeah, there's no WoW 2. Sorry. If there is, I will, you know, eat a big bowl of ice cream, but yeah, there's no logic thing that will suggest a WoW 2 is coming. It's all cope. When we're gonna get mob yeah, that's what I was asking earlier. I'm like, okay, what might they repeat a remix? I don't know. It's weird because we have like a remix where you can get everything, and then there's a suggestion of bringing back Collector's Bounty, where you get a better chance to get everything. And there's a certain overlap there I find odd. I honestly wouldn't be surprised if they never if they because Collector's Bounty was very useful for places that we didn't have a remix for yet. I'm wondering if they, you know, if in their whole tool belt of stuff that they can do, some places will just never have a remix, and instead they do Collector's Bounty instead. And then they'll just have that be an occasional thing, but it won't be a new thing, or they won't add it for like more recent expansions. They'll do the remix formula instead, and that'll come whenever it comes. But I think they also have time before they go for more recent expansions. So I still think that BFA is a good candidate. Wrath could be a good candidate too. The problem with expansions before MOP though is that the whole end game scene is like gonna be like really weak. Because the Legion remix felt good because you had multiple raid difficulties, you had mythic keystones and all that. That felt it felt like it had a lot of like meat to it. Doing something like Wrath or TBC, you had a lot of dungeons. You know, there was a good variety there. You had a lot of dungeons and raids, but you didn't have and then at least you had like the 10 and 25 versions, and later on the heroic, so that helps. So I think Wrath wouldn't be a bad one. Health pods. For the next remix, ask the forums for Blizzard to let us take current characters to remix, cache their quests, and all that. Yeah, I know a couple of guildmates, they just dumped. You know, they made characters and then they just dump them. They'll delete them and just make new ones. But that could be a thing too, like, you know, for the sake of just not taking up more character space, or if people already have like a full thing. But the other thing too is that Blizzard, you know, every time they've done a remix, they gave us another 5 character slots. And while that might not answer the hunger of some people, or the needs of some people, like, it's a solution. You know, it prevents the worst case scenario of having to delete a character to make room for someone. So, and even if we don't do the remix, we get 5 more character slots. So yeah. I get attached to my tunes. I hate to delete them. I get it. Of course, I have dudes like Tanako and Yuzule, and okay, they don't mean anything. Like a lot of these are just like characters that I used for hopping realms and shopping and stuff like that. Yeah, remember we all play a little different. You know, not all of us have like full ass uh, character slots and all that, and some of us have been playing for 20 years. So. I'd say Shadowlands be a good remix, as a lot of people stepped away from them, and once they came back up, we can play catch up. There's that too. You know, maybe not a lot of folks experienced it. I will say with some confidence, a lot of people experienced the first part of Shadowlands. As far as I know, a lot of people picked up on it, especially because COVID was happening at the time. So that was a big plus. As for afterwards, not so much. Not so much. You think it was the worst part of Shadowlands? I think when patch 9.1.5 came out, that changed the game, dude. You know, once we could like freely switch covenants and all that stuff. Oh man, like that was the moment I went whoa, and I enjoyed myself in Shadowlands immensely. Because I ended up like making my own like little system of navigating through each covenant with my main, so I can collect the shields and like the transmog appearances for my main and all that. And this was restricted to like just my paladin, so just a plate wear. And so for me, it was very palatable. I had a great time going through, you know, learning all the covenant stories, going through the flow, developing the mana network thingamajigs and all that. I legit had fun. So once the covenant switching started, that to me, that's what saved the game for me. I would have kept playing anyway, but that's what saved the game. Oh, and Torghast was sick. Oh, especially once they I mean, it was later when they came out with the whole boss rush thing. I thought that was fun. I felt good doing that. I get bored making the tune level out. Yeah, that's what some people do. Like some people, they don't have that sort of attachment. For them, it's all about, okay, I want the whole, you know, I want to go through the whole leveling process again, but in a different way, or a different character, or like a different route, or something like that. I know for me, I that's not me. I don't get any value from that. Starting from level 1, you crazy. I'll do it for the remix, begrudgingly. That's about it. Oh yeah, a lot of people got caught up in the negativity, man. It was tough. I felt, you know, between me and my team and all that, like I felt like I was thriving pretty well. So, I mean, a part of it, I think I just got lucky though. Like when they announced Shadowlands, you know, there I was at BlizzCon and we were learning about stuff and so on and so forth. When I got to play test it, and you know, there we are in Bastion. I'm playing a paladin. I'm like, and we start to like learn some of the initial abilities. I learned Divine Toll, you know, the curing ability for paladins. And when I learned that, I'm like, oh, this is the best. Covenant chosen, the rest left in the dust. So for me, the whole like choice thing, there was no choice. I already made my choice. And it happened to be the best one. It had everything. It had like the cool vibey outdoors. It had boomos. It had like the cool like fucking yoked up bird. It was sick. It was sick. Like at the time, people were like really getting caught up in the whole woke shit and all that. Like, oh my god, like this fucking, you know, trans blue person and this and that, and like just dragging and dragging, like taking every little thing. Oh my god, you know. And then of course there was the lawsuits and all that, and that was obviously bad. Yeah, just a lot of things dragging it down. And then I was just like, bing, 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 bing. You know, all that stuff was like bouncing off me. Not because I'm better at all. It just didn't like, it just didn't hit me the same way. I was like, whatever. You know, fuck them other people too for the, you know, assault allegations and all that. But I'm still gonna carry on. All right, this guy's done. What else we got? Divine Toll is the best. You know what else is best? Fucking Braun, baby. Oh, Braun was awesome. I remember how hard I was pushing that Braun Cena Wikora. That thing was the best. That was the best. If you don't want a yearly collector's bounty, you don't have to do it. But for people that are still farming, I encourage having a yearly bounty. That's not it. It's not a... So for me, Priestess, it's not a question of what I would do and, you know, whether I have to do it or not. Like, hell, I didn't even participate in the whole thing either. Like, I got the things that I really wanted. I mostly wanted... it was a mount from Nighthold. I wanted the red toilet seat. And then I got it. And then I pretty much stopped. I was like, I got what I wanted. That's how I am. You know, I'm very like specific on my wants and needs. I happen to get a lot of stuff. But I'm very specific most of the time with the things that I want to go for. Because to me that's the whole management of my mental health in this game. Otherwise, if I see everything and I'm like, oh my god, I only have 60% of everything in the game, to me that doesn't work for my brain. I would like there'd be steam coming out my ears. I can't do that. But no, my whole case for collector's bounty not being every year, or maybe not even having it anymore, is because how it affects player behavior. I mean, yeah, there are folks that are still farming, that are still farming for stuff, and they haven't gotten the things that they wanted yet. I totally get that. But if there was, let's pretend, here's the scenario. If there was a yearly collector's bounty, and there might be something from the War Within or something that or actually, let's say if there's something here at midnight that I want to get. It's like this rare mount and it takes forever to get, and there's this really involved process into obtaining it, or it's a rare drop or whatever. What am I going to do? Am I going to go through the process and get it? Or am I just going to wait about 17, 18 months where it's going to be considerably more easy to get? And that's going to alter my player behavior. It might not. You know, my brain might be like, nope, I'm going to get it right now if I can get it. And then when the bounty comes, I'm going to have a better chance to get it, and I'm going to keep going. Not everyone works like that, though. For a lot of folks, that ends up being like super burnout and all that. And I think, and it's up to Blizzard to decide, do they want to introduce that kind of player behavior choice in players? I don't know what the right answer is, but I know my answer is, nah, don't do that. But that's just my answer. And in my headcanon, I'm right. And so that's why, you know, in this whole debate, not debate, you know, we're just kind of digging our heels in. We're making our points. That's it. We're not going to convince each other one way or another. But if that helps to at least help you understand my point, cool. That's as far as I want to go. I don't want to, like, I'm not here to win an argument. This is right. We got a couple. All right. Last guy. Yay. Yeah, the red toilet seat is, I forgot what it was called, dude. There's the green toilet seat, and then there's the red toilet seat. I'll show you. Something infernal, but it was a red toilet seat. I feel sort of bad because some people are like, oh my god, I can't unsee it anymore, but we'll see what you think. So it's the sky. Oh, damn it. All right, this here is the red toilet seat. Why is it the red toilet seat? Because look at his neck. It's a toilet seat. It is a toilet seat. It is a walking, fist-swinging, demonic defecation station. Yeah. Okay. And I stand by that. Soul Ring of the Infernal. I didn't ruin it. I just told the truth. That's it. Nothing more, nothing less. Broke my UI. I want to do the spawn of Veranoth mount, but I forgot to make sure I got in the window of time to do it, so no chance now. Lol, it's just a mount. Wait, what's that one? Brit? I thought the spawn of Veranoth, I thought that was the current thing, right? Isn't that the Turbulent Timeways mount? Bum, bum, bum. Oh, this add-on saves, man. It's what allows me to like just chat with you guys and not really think about it. I'm just slamming buttons. Oh, thank goodness. All right. It's like the motorbike map. You have to do all the puzzles, etc. I ended up in tears because I'm not good at them, and for my mental health, I gave up trying. I think we need to normalize that. Which sounds so defeatist, right? Normalize giving up and just be like, you know what, fuck it. I don't need that anyway. Bleh. You know, it's, you know, maybe not all gamers, but you know, there's a certain segment of gaming culture that where you know, you gotta get it, otherwise you feel bad for it, and then you gotta seethe over it, and then make a whole scene over it. And I'm out of tranquility. Oh no. Tranquility balloon. Oh dude, okay, now my thing's all messed up. Okay, so let me try to buy this real quick. Trank balloon. Not that one, this one. Let's get some of that. Damn, that's cheap. You can listen to another comments, any amount will be ruined and save you some money and time. Yeah, but not everyone is a toilet. Okay, so health pots. Wow. That was like 3 ingenuity procs. That's not bad. Not bad for a change. Alright, something warband and trank balloon. Alright. I think all of them are done. What about the engineering rocket that looks like a flying nose? You mean the little stubby dude? I forgot what that one was called. I don't even know if I have it. Around the whole week, I only got one of the mounts I wanted. Oh, okay. Yeah, okay, that's what the Swan River. Yeah, but you can still, I mean, you got to go through the pains of grinding the badges, but you can at least, you can still buy them with, what's it called? Time Warp badges. So, Can I link a screenshot? As long as it's not weird. Yeah. Don't be weird. I'll get mad. Okay, that's right. Someone was going to link me layouts. Oh, here we go. Okay, so this person was asking earlier about... okay, they want my opinion on the small square room linked to the entrance and the one to the right of it. So my opinion on the small square room linked to the entrance and this. So they want like a transition kind of thing here. So that looks like an orc spot. Yay. And then that is a transition to something else. And then here's a transition to something else. Stairwell that goes up. So there's an upper floor here. I guess the question is like, what are we going to do up here? And what's stopping you from just taking what's stopping us from just taking these rooms out, have this be the transition, and then move the rooms here instead? So remember, my philosophy is less is more. So that's my suggestion. So I just don't even have these rooms. Have this be the transition and then play with this if you want. The other alternative could be take this, you know, after the patch at least, move the entryway, you know, take out some of these rooms, move the entryway somewhere else. So like here or something like that. So that way, instead of playing with only a small room, then you can play with a stairwell room. I don't know if they're still here in chat. So I took like forever to like actually finally get to this. I can't understand if I need to buy a boost for mythic kills now. With season 2 on the horizon, now's the time to finish any remaining season 1 goals. Following feats of strength, achievements, and rewards will no longer be available. Before season 2 begins, be sure to complete any remaining finish 1 raid goals. Following feats of strength and rewards will no longer be attainable or be hard to attain. So you're referring to... I mean, what do you want, Tulok? What are you trying to get? If you want the mount, it's going to be hard to obtain. If you want the achievement for cutting edge, that will definitely go away. Oh, you're talking about the decor. As far as I know, no, that is not going to like go away. So actually, hold on, because I don't have nothing. What's this damn thing called? Midnight. Here we go. No, not that one. Where's that achievement that gave me the damn thing? Not a feat of strength. Let's go to Dungeons and Raids. Midnight Raid. And... not there. About General Raid. Okay, how about decor? So I'm basically looking for the thing that got us the statues, because I forgot what it is, or I forgot exactly what it is that's linked to that. Anyone know? Because I don't see it. Is it that? No, it's not that. Oh, that's under promotions. No. No, I'm just looking for raid stuffs. Oh, how'd you go about it? Yeah, my question, my thing, Arcade, was to just not even have the rooms. I would take them out. So, actually, let me answer this achievement question first. How do we get those things? Can I just say raid? Statue. Oh, they're not here either. Shoot. Figure? Y'all know what I'm talking about, right? The little statues you get for completing the raids trophy? There we go. So this is linked to... So it says it's a drop. I am extremely confident that you will always get it. If you're talking about the decor, it's a guaranteed drop. You'll just keep getting it. Actually, no. You get it. You get it once, and then I think you buy more somewhere, right? Can we buy more? Actually, I don't think we can buy more. I think you just get the one. Yeah. So as far as I'm concerned, it's going to be a guaranteed drop. Wait. Hold on. I'm remembering things. Because I think this trophy mark has some significance. I don't know. But yeah, as far as I know, alts don't get it. Like, you get it once and like that's it. Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't remember off the top of my head. I do remember there are some statements being made about it though. But I don't think they're anything that's really concrete. Trophy marks for difficulties. I think it's just indicates like a one-time thing. Anyway, moving back to this. So if they wanted to turn this into a transition from one thing to the next, I would turn this into a hallway. I'd thin this thing out and then maybe create like a sort of transition or something like that. Because I guess ideally what I would do, so like I would add this hallway. You know, I think having a hallway that helps transition from one kind of experience to the next would help. So like here, it's like, okay, here we're going to something that sort of looks like the Frozen Throne or something like that. And so now you have this hallway to help us transition. I would want the same treatment to be given to like this room here. I don't recall everything you were asking, but that's kind of what I would do there. So I would have like whatever the theme is here, but then the hallway, it would quickly transition into, okay, here's like kind of a vibe shift. Now we're going to get rugged. It's going to have like a whole bunch of like celebrations of like orc looking stuff. And then we get into this room. Something like that. Yeah. If you want to DM me, I'll be able to give you, or yeah, if you want to DM me directly with your question, I'll be able to give you like a much more robust answer, maybe. Oh wow, I've been ranting for a long time. Shoot, we've been at it. Well, you might want to get tips for. Their new fall decor items are added to the BTR, so Ben's the only one showing it. What's that? Let me see. New fall themed decor. This is... Oh, we've seen this. Yeah. Or at least I saw this... where do I usually go? I usually go here for my decor updates. So, you know, when you do the search, like I'll regularly come... Actually, let me go here to this main part. Yeah, so like here I'll go to like the WoW Housing database, and I'll just scroll down to recently added items, and you'll see a lot of that stuff. Yeah. So if you want to get kind of the scoop, hey, that's one way to do it. Great site, by the way. My favorite when it comes to showing off the goods and other things. So like here's like more of a, here's like more samples of the things that are coming. Now the fall decor that's being referred to, I believe all that stuff is from the shop. So here's like the shed, and I believe it's marked as, no, not marked here, but I believe folks have mentioned that it is probably a shop item. So if I go to here, I'll go to the Peter real quick. We're gonna wrap up stream in a bit, but I at least want to hop on to the PTR real quick just to show y'all. Timeline on next patch. Don't put money on it, but I'm gonna say August 11th, week of. I'm just guessing though. I haven't even really counted the weeks, but the stars just seem to align with that. It's a bet. It's not, no. It's not a bet. No Kalshi polymarket shit here, please. So, all right. So I was going to look at shop stuff. So something dashboard shop or store. Shit, was it shop or store? Oh, it's not showing stuff in the store now? Oh no. They made it harder now. Oh wait, no. I think it's because I'm on the. Maybe it's because I'm on the PTR? I don't know. What if I say fall? Nope, that does not do it. So, okay, so I could have swore there was an easy way to identify stuff or filter stuff out inside the thing. I know the overlay's blocking it. I don't think I can move it. Can I? After raid part, there's saying going away is harder to obtain, so going away equals achievement for sure. Harder to obtain is the core. It's showing it for coupons. Some of the fall stuff. Oh, is it? Okay. So let me see again. Can I move this now? Yay. Okay, so those are accessible. Okay. I thought there were other things here that were like different. So yeah, I guess it was other stuff. Let me go back to this guy here, and I'll just say shop. See if let me see if it filters here. It is not. So a lot of those tags are no longer present. But maybe I can just sort through categories, perhaps. So like maybe if there's like a source shop. All right. So while these are not guaranteed, and some of these might not even be for this region, what can we see here? What can we see here? So we see stuff that we see some China stuff, we see some promo stuff. It looks like all that stuff has been oh, it was this stuff that I recall seeing for like shop things. Okay. But I do also recall there was some data mine stuff about like fall things. So we'll see if those things have like changed or whatnot. Yeah. But yeah, like these are like some of those things that I remember seeing. I'm like, oh, okay, this is like a you know, that's a thing. Yay. Yeah, tiki bar stuff. So it's like, okay, cool. Now we have something like this, or we have like a little foxhole. If we want to just like display this, haha. So I have a nice little crawly thing to hide under. Or make weird hills, some shit like that. Yeah, some of the stuff will cost just coupons. Can I just say coupon? Nope. Collection, placeable. Yeah. No cool filters like that. Bummer. Yeah. I mean, there's a lot that's coming. You know, there's also like going to be like other holiday things like the Brewfest stuff that's coming. Actually, let me look at that real quick before we go. Let me go over to the Horde one though. I want to see if they happen to change the. Actually, no, it's here. It should be this. It still says 250. Okay. I have a feeling that these will change later on, but oh well. So like spending 250 Brewfest tokens on like just a wreath, that doesn't sound very reasonable, but I have a feeling that these will change since all of the things cost the same and they don't feel like they should all cost the same. Oh well. I think what I'm going to do now is I'm going to cut out. I'm going to see if I can, in fact, make a little weekly out of some of the stuff we just talked about. Mostly the news stuff, the news-related things from this week. And then I'm going to try to relax a little bit if I can, even though it's hard to do. Yeah, definitely to try to earn or get myself some rest somehow. I'll do my best though. You guys have a great rest of the weekend, and I'll see you guys for the next thing. Until then.